Dr. Anne Sylvestre with Focus and Flourish. Let's talk about margins when we're removing a lump from a dog or a cat. We pretty much all understand that the size of your margin is completely dependent on the etiology of the lump. If you're dealing with a benign lump, the width of the margin you want to remove with the lump will be a very narrow one, such as seen here in this example where that yellowy circle represents the lump. And I've taken the opportunity here to just reiterate that with an elliptical incision, the length of your incision should be about 3 times the width of your incision, not because you want greater margins at the top and the bottom of the lump, but because you want your incision to close nicely without any dog ears or puckers or tags. Now, if your lump is benign, then your deep margin just needs to be right below the lump, a very narrow margin. Let's define the margins now for a malignant tumor. If the tumor is malignant, the width of your margin should be between 1 and 5 centimeters, and you'll determine how much based on the type of tumor that you're dealing with. So if you look at the top picture, we're talking about, it's supposed to depict a low-grade soft tissue sarcoma. So think of the big lump that you can feel. From that lump, there are these fingerlings or tendrils of malignant cells that are extending out. And you want to make sure you get all of these tendrils. If you're dealing with the low-grade soft tissue sarcoma, the tendrils, the fingerlings don't go out very far, and a 2-centimeter margin is usually ample for your average low-grade soft tissue sarcoma. Now, if you have a high-grade soft tissue sarcoma, as depicted by the lower picture, the fingerlings go much further away, much further out from the mother tumor itself. And in order to ensure that you capture them all, you want to get at least a 5-centimeter margin. It's never a guarantee, but it is a good probability that you will get the entire tumor out when you use the appropriate marginal width. If you leave the end of a fingerling of tumor cells behind because your margin wasn't wide enough, then that tumor will be back. In about 6 weeks, you will see enough lump back there, and it will be a much more difficult procedure the second time around because now you've gone in surgically and we released all sorts of fascial planes and we dissected and undermined and created space for these tumor cells to invade, and they will. So the second time around is always much harder. Think about that at the beginning. The depth you want to take for one of these malignant tumors is 1 fascial plane. A fascial plane refers to a layer of very dense tissue between you and the tumor. Between the tumor and your margin. So your margin needs to be one dense tissue layer. And often that'll be the deep fascia and the subcutaneous tissue, but think of bone. Bone is a dense tissue layer. And, other areas, a tendon, although not necessarily appropriate, but that would be a dense tissue layer. They're just not usually that wide. So that's what we mean by a fascial plane. Let's take a bit of a closer look at all of it. Let's start with the benign dermal mass, such as a sebaceous adenoma. These lumps are benign. All you need to do for width and depth is remove the lump itself, nothing more. Now we have a dermal mass, but this time we're going to make it malignant, maybe some sort of mast cell tumor. In order to remove it with an appropriate fascial plane, we need to find the next dense fibrous plane, which in this case is going to be the deep fascia of the subcutaneous layer. So you're going to want to make sure that you incorporate the deep fascia at the same width of margin that you use for the skin from underneath the tumor. That would make it 1 fascial plane away from the skin. Let's do the same exercise, but with a subcutaneous benign lump. So rather than dermal, it's under the skin. This could be a lipoma, for instance, maybe some sort of fibroma. Because again, it's a benign lump, no margins are necessary. You can just remove the tissues of the lump itself. Easy peasy. You got this one. Let's repeat this exercise with a malignant subcutaneous tumor. So for instance, a mammary adenocarcinoma. Now we need to find the next fascial plane, or the next dense tissue plane between the tumor and the rest of the body. In this particular case, it's going to be the first layer of the muscle that's below the tumor, which will be the external abdominal oblique in the example we have chosen. Remember that every muscle has the sarcomeres, the muscular component to them, and they're surrounded by what's called the epimysium, right? The dense fibrous layer that kind of surrounds that muscle, that helps to define the muscle. That epimysium would often suffice as a fascial plane, but when I'm doing a mammary adenocarcinoma and I'm looking at taking the epimysium of the external abdominal oblique, it's such a thin muscle. I remove the entire external abdominal oblique in that area, just in the area that I need to remove, and leaving my next fascial plane to be the internal abdominal oblique muscle. That's how I would handle it, but only because the external abdominal oblique is so thin and it's just as easy to take the entire section of it out. But be aware that the epimysium of a muscle does form a fascial plane. I hope you found this video helpful. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel.